Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on
Unplugged with the Jeevans.
So, today, what's the topic, Sharnya? I think it's something you love the most.
What?
Why are you saying that I love it the most?
Because you're always caught in some drama.
I mean, that is true. Today, we'll be talking about toxic family. I think you love this topic a little bit more, I feel.
don't really love this topic because, technically speaking, I don't really have any family dramas, or I'm not involved in any family dramas. To
ஏமா அது எப்படிமா பொய்ய உண்மை மாதிரி டவுட் இல்லாம திக்காம திணறாம ஒப்பிக்கிற
be honest.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, because it's low-key caused by me and then like back
we are
each
like
other up.
a tag team. And I'm always the one tagging because I'm never in the argument.
ஏன்டா பின்னாடி வரீங்க ஒரு கம்பெனிக்கு வேண்டா நீயே பேசு
That's true.
Okay, so let's dive into it.
I'm sure everyone that is watching can relate so well to this topic because I think most of us go through a lot of toxic family members. I'm sure everyone out there has an aunt who always asks you, when are you getting married?
So, Sharnya, when are you getting married?
Oh my god. Have you guys ever had this question asked to you before? Because I've had it many times everywhere I go for family functions. That is the first question all the aunties love to ask. And also the uncles. You know, the uncles also love to ask this question. They're
Uncles
like,
love
don't
gossip.
forget to invite us. I'm like, should I though?
ராஜா சீக்கிரம் கல்யாண சாப்பாடு போடுங்க சீக்கிரமானா காலையில ஒரு 4 மணிக்கே போட்டுருவா
If Sharnya is making the guest list, I'm checking the guest list because I'm minusing people off. So, Sharnya, when are you getting married?
No, that's not the question. Don't be like those uncles, please. But yes, so we have that as a very common question that's always asked during wedding functions, especially wedding function. Uncles who always want something from our parents.
All the time.
I think a lot can relate to that.
All the time.
The call only comes in when they need something. And what about cousins? The jealousy between cousins is actually unreal.
And I don't have cousins, guys.
You
because
do.
I've ostracized everyone out of my...
You know what's going to be fun today? We're going to dive into some DMCs. Deep, meaningful conversations.
So, I think this is something very common, right? When a girl is above 25 or maybe 27, family members start asking, hey, when are you getting married? Or when is your daughter getting married?
I don't know whether this is only like brown families or whether everyone actually goes through it.
I think maybe a majority go through this. I think Asians. But I see it very predominantly in Indian families. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, how to say, it's none of their business,
True.
but they have a lot to say. They're not pumping in the money. They are not helping out with wedding planning, but they want to know when you're getting married.
Yeah. Because every time an auntie or uncle asks me, when am I getting married?
கல்யாணத்துக்கு நீங்க காசு கொடுப்பீங்களா இல்ல 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 நீங்க இன்விடேஷன் பிரிண்ட் பண்றீங்களா இல்ல ஃப்ரீயா நீங்க சாப்பாடு அனுப்புறீங்களா எதுவும் இல்ல இல்ல பின்ன கேட்காதீங்க
So when family members ask you this question, how do you deal with it?
Usually I'm just like, yeah, soon, you know. That's what I say.
I think something that's very common in the Indian families is that because they're an elderly person, you need to respect them, so don't say anything, you know? Just be
Yeah, I
kind
feel
and
like it's so
courteous.
common.
But what is wrong if somebody chooses to get married at 35 or 40?
Or even not get married. I think they give them the space to be that way, to have a say in like their own child's life. You know? So because that space is given and they are, you know, coming in like they're involved in every aspect of your life, I think that's when it becomes really difficult to set the boundaries because you're really young at one point, obviously. And then when you get to a certain age, you feel like it's too much or it's too toxic. But you can't really say anything and you have to be respectful because according to your parents, you know, you need to give the elderly that respect. So what do you think about that?
I think we shouldn't even allow people to tell us when we should get married or even ask us the question because ultimately it's the individual's choice. You know what I mean? You rather take your time to pick the right partner than pick the wrong partner and then end up in divorce. Because I mean that is literally what's happening.
Yeah.
There's
that's
no
true.
guarantee that your partner is going to be faithful to you throughout your marriage or whatever, you know. So you rather take your time and pick the right person, and instead of this auntie forcing you or that uncle forcing you, and then you pick the wrong person, and you're just going to be miserable.
I think it also not only about aunties and uncles, but also your parents can be toxic
Yeah,
too.
they can be.
Because I mean, obviously that's under the family tree. So sometimes it can be the pressure from your family. Like, you know, you need to get married by a certain age. If not, people are going to talk about you. They're worried about society. They're worried about other family members, you know, talking behind their backs. Technically, it looks bad for them because they feel like if they don't get their child married, then they haven't like fulfilled their responsibility. So they feel like, okay, if you're already married, I'll just push you off and you're done. Like my job is done, you know. And I feel like a lot of
That's
families are like that.
very old mindset, because we're not back in the 80s or 90s where by a certain age if you don't get married you cannot get married at all, or there's no possible alliances that will come. No, we can still take our time. We are in the 21st century. We don't need to worry about all these kind of things.
Yeah, but also if you think about it, our parents are still boomers.
boomers.
So our parents are still boomers, and I think only when it comes to the millennials is when you actually see a change in families. You know, a lot of change happens with the millennials, and then, you know, after that the Gen Z also are pretty vocal and, you know, outspoken about a lot of things, which whether they agree, they don't agree, they will let you know to your face, you know, like, why are you even asking me questions? Like, why are you asking me about weddings? You know, why are you asking me when I'm getting married? Because, like, are you paying for the food? Are you paying for the deco? Like, what are you going to be paying for? You're just going to come there, eat, get
And
the dog
complain.
gift, complain about the food or the deco or the timing or whatever it is, and then you're going to leave. Right?
Yeah. That's why I think it's best just call a very limited group of people.
Yeah, and for the people like that you don't like but they still have to come like for your wedding, like whichever uncle or aunties, I'm just like, yeah, that 5 peanuts dog gifts is like good enough. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
If you're watching and you're related to me, and if I don't talk to you, you're not invited. Sorry.
And if you're related to me, I mean to us, and if it's my wedding, you may still be invited.
Not to mine.
Why? Because parents.
And for me, I have a say, so I will not allow. I honestly don't feel the need to be paying for people who are not going to wish me well.
Yeah, I also
So,
believe in that. I feel like,
I'd rather have 10 people than 100 people when I know that 10 people are genuine. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's... Bye-bye. You're not invited.
oh, I thought you were telling bye. I was like, huh, this is the end already.
No, bye, you're not invited.
Bye.
So, Shania, tell me a story where you had a toxic situation with a toxic family member.
Now we're getting into the tea. Should I spill the tea?
Spill the tea.
So, this happened to me a few years back, okay, like about 6-7 years ago. But the one thing that I felt was really toxic was, I mean, obviously it's your cousin and aunties and all that are involved in this. And I felt like my cousin, she had like this revenge mode in her. So something that happened 5 years prior to that, she kept that in her mind. And she started like going on about like during her wedding, like prep and everything. During that time, I actually had pneumonia. So I was really, really sick. But then I knew that they would talk. Like I already knew that they would talk if I don't do anything for the wedding. Or like you know, just like help out. So I even during the time while I was like really sick, I still asked like, do you need any help? Or, you know, if anything, just call me, I'll come. So my mom was at that family member's house and she was helping out with like the decors and like preparing, you know, Indian weddings, they have like a lot of stuff they need to prepare. So while she was doing that, what I did was I called my mom and I said like, okay, I'm coming, but I'll get flowers and I'll come. So I bought hydrangeas, and it was actually really beautiful flowers, you know. So I went to the florist, like I found, like there's a florist that was near my uni at that time. So I went to the florist, I ordered the flowers, got the flowers, and I came, and it was fine, you know, like according to the florist, those flowers can last about like 7 days, okay? These flowers didn't even last 7 minutes after I stepped into the house, which is so crazy. And like the way they were treating me at that point, right? I found it so weird because I asked my aunt like, where should I keep the flowers? Like, you know, like they didn't want to like talk to me, kind of thing. Like you can feel like you're being shut out, and you don't know what the reason is. So during that time, my cousin decided to have a bachelorette party. So at this bachelorette party were like her friends, and I was there as well because I was already in the house. And what happened was, like, during that bachelorette party, she told me, she's like, oh, Sharnya, you're going to take care of the money. Like, all the money that, you know, they're going to give on stage and everything, that's your job that you're going to do. And I was like, what the hell? You know, because I'm like, you didn't put me as a bridesmaid, even though I feel like a lot of weddings, the brides always put their cousins because that's like their sisters, you know. So they always put their cousins and stuff, and I wasn't a part of it, and she only had her friends. So I already felt like very offended by that, you know, but I just kept quiet because I was like, you know what, it's her day, I'm not going to like say anything or whatever. So when it came to like one of the events, the haldi, and she was taking pictures with everyone, I was sitting right there, you know, and she didn't even call me to take a picture. So like I just started like crying. I actually started crying because I felt very hurt. So I felt hurt and everything, and then her friend asked, because her friend asked me, it's like, hey, Sharnya, come and take a picture, because I felt like she probably saw and she knew that like something's off, and then she called. But then, you see, it's your friend calling me. You didn't call me, and I'm sitting like right in front of you technically at the couch, and you're just like in front. And so I felt really offended by that, and I started crying and everything. And then my mom was like, oh, don't cry, you know, and everything. And then my dad walks in. And when my dad walks in, he was like, why is she crying? Then Amma was like, oh, she's going to miss her. And then my father was like, don't bullshit.
The man is a strict man.
He is. He's
Everyone
like...
fears him.
Yeah, especially if like they were to do shit to me, my father will step in 100%. So he was like, let's go. So we didn't have the lunch, you know. We actually skipped the lunch, and we just went straight back home because there's still other events coming up, right? And I think the wedding was the next day or something. So even on the wedding and stuff like that, when I saw the video montage of the wedding, I felt so hurt because I was not in any frame. Like, she didn't want me to be there, you know. And like while this wedding was happening, there were like family members standing in the front and stuff like that, and she wanted a tissue. So she was already on stage and everything before they were going to tie the tali and all that. So she asked for like a tissue. And so I went to go get a tissue, and then I wanted to hand it to her. And then what my auntie did, which is her mother, she pulled my arm. Like, she pulled my arm back. You know, she pulled my arm back. And then, like, my family members that were from Singapore were also there. And then another aunt of mine saw, and she felt really bad. She's like, Sharnya, do you want to, like, stand here and, like, somewhere in the front there? I was like, no, it's okay. Like, you know, you guys carry on. But what I didn't realize is my dad saw that too. My dad got pissed off. Like,
அடி தர்ற வலியை விட பயம் தர்ற வலி தான் பெருசு.
I mean, you know, father. So when that all happened, obviously the drama is going to get bigger. But what this cousin did was, she just started crying because she thinks crying is solving her problems. Like, after the amount of shit that you do to someone on purpose, you just start crying to seem like the victim so that you can get yourself out of that situation. And after that, like, she's quite like scared to like confront me or talk to me because she knows like, you know, I have a certain way when I talk when I'm angry, and she cannot argue with me when it comes to that level.
ஈவில்ஸ்னு டெவில்ஸ் பேசக்கூடாது. இல்ல.
So she just cries her way out of it. And yeah, after that, like, we technically cut off that family member. Family members, actually. Because we don't need drama like that. And my dad also was like, you know what? I'm not going to let my child go through this. So one thing I do love about my father is he really stands up for the both of us. Like, doesn't matter who that family member is, my dad will stand up for us.
Yeah.
You know? My mom is more like she doesn't want to hurt anyone, but my dad really is the GOAT.
In supporting and standing up for his family.
Especially his children, yeah.
I mean, if he thinks we did something wrong, he would make us apologize.
Yeah.
But if we didn't do anything wrong, he would tell
Because
us
he
it's
saw
fine.
these things happening with his own eyes, you know. So that's why he was like able to like really, you know, like tell us that, you know what, it's fine, it's not even your fault. You try to help and they didn't want your help, so just, you know, screw
Move
it.
on, yeah.
Move on. We don't need them.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And then we cut them off and we don't actually care about them.
And we are so much happier.
Much happier. We just want to tell you a toxic story. Yes, Dawson.
Yes!
Tell us your toxic situation that has happened with a toxic family member.
All my family members are toxic. Okay, so this wasn't directly at me. This happened a year after my grandfather passed. We had a 1-year prayer. So in Hinduism, we practice this 1-year prayer. So my mom and my aunt and my sister went over. So there was already a family misunderstanding that happened already during that time. So my mom and my aunt had to go over to cook for them, you know, for the prayers the next day. So Shania was like, okay, you know what, I will drop you guys there and then I'll come back. And I told Shania, no, I don't think you should go because we already have a fallout with the family members. If you want to go and drop them off, just drop them off and then come back home. You don't need to go into the house. Shania being Shania, she felt bad. So she went in and she took all her things, like all the stuff.
The thing is, our aunt actually, she told me, when I was just going to drop them off outside, but she told me, Shania, can you like help carry the stuff inside? Because I mean, obviously they are older, way
Yeah.
older, so I'm like, okay, I can't like let old people carry this, you know, heavy box and all that. So I just helped to do that.
And when she helped to do that, there was a uncle in the house, and she just walked past him because we're not really in talking terms with him, and he got offended and he's like, oh, how dare you not say hello when you come into the house and blah 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 blah. This uncle doesn't realize, or is just being oblivious, that he has a problem with us, so we don't really talk to you, so why would we be greeting you? I mean, normally we're just going to come, put the things down and we're just going to walk out. And he made a whole issue with that, and then Shania got upset, so she cried.
So he wanted to come and like hit me, and you know, everyone was like obviously stopping him from doing that, and then I started hyperventilating because I was really angry and I was screaming. So yeah.
So then Shania was on her way back to our house, and she called me, and I was studying, right? And then she was crying and she was hyperventilating. And I was like, oh my God, what happened to you? Are you robbed? Did you meet in an accident? Or what's wrong? What's going on? And she was like, and then she tells me like, oh no, this uncle yelled at me and he wanted to hit me and all that stuff. So I got pissed. And I was like, okay, how far are you from the house? And she's like, okay, not too far. And then when she came back home, she told me exactly what happened. And I was like furious. My blood was boiling. Already stressed with my exams the next day. And then I have to deal with this kind of family drama. So I picked up my phone and I called this respective uncle. And I was like, what the hell were you thinking? Like, how dare you do such a thing to a person? First of all, she is not a small kid. She's a grown woman. How dare you raise your hand at her? Do you think you have the right to do that? You're not even her father. Even if you are her father, you have no right to do such a thing.
Not only that, but our father has never hit us.
he has never hit
So
us.
how can any other person have the right to do that?
Yeah, you can't even raise your hand. That's morally wrong. And when I spoke to him, he was like, oh, how dare you talk to me in such a tone. I was like so pissed. I was like literally yelling. And he's like, oh, how dare you use such a tone on me? And I'm like, I will use whatever tone I want on you because you have no right to raise your hands at my sister. And he was like, oh, you think you're so brave or whatever, or something he said to me. And I was like, yes, so what is your issue now? And then he's like, oh, give me your father's number. I'm going to call your father. First of all, you don't have my father's number, then there's something wrong with you. I was like, yeah, sure. If you're going to threaten me, like by calling my dad and telling him that I spoke to you in a very harsh tone, I think you first need to tell him why I did that. And because you're not very smart, you might have just thought that saying that and he'll just believe it.
But not only that, my father, literally, whether we are right or wrong, in that situation, he will always have our backs.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, sure. And I gave him my dad's number, and I remember my dad saying he was in a meeting, so he was really busy that day. And then I think this uncle was trying to call him and tell him how I spoke to him. And then eventually my dad picked up, and he was after his meeting, and then he heard this whole thing. And I think my dad told him off. And then my dad called me, and he's like, what is going on? Like, I'm in a meeting and I'm getting a call from your uncle. He's complaining about this. I was like, did he tell you the part where he raised his hand at your daughter? And he's like, oh no, he didn't. And I was like, yeah, that is the reason why I raged. And then he spoke to me, and he was like, okay, you know what, calm down. I'll speak to your mother, and I'll deal with this with your mother. And then I think a few hours later, he calls me back. This uncle calls me back. And he's like, oh, by the way, tomorrow's your grandfather's 1-year prayer. Despite the fight that we are having,
Make sure you come.
make sure you come over for the funeral prayers. I was like, first of all, you don't tell me whether I can come or I can't come because he's my grandfather. Whatever it is, I will be there because this is for my grandfather. It's not for anybody else in that house.
Yeah.
So I said, you don't need to tell me whether I can come or not. And I'm not going to tell you whether I'm coming or not. And then I ended the call. And then like a few hours later, another uncle comes over with my mom because she knew I was raging. And she called me down. She's like, oh, come down. I was like so pissed. I started yelling at my mom and the other uncle. I was like, I have an exam tomorrow. And here you want me to come down to discuss this kind of a problem? I'm sorry. My education is more important. And then...
So, by the way, the fact that my mother had to come down with my other uncle just to convince him to come, because
Yeah.
when he is raging and on fire, then
Yeah, and I told my mom, you don't tell me
Yeah.
whether... don't tell me or don't force me to come.
Speaking, no class speaking. Sit down, please. இது ஒன்ன கத்து வச்சிட்டு ஓயாம மிஸ்டர் வண்டு கோர்ட்ல இப்படி எல்லாம் அடிக்கடி கத்தப்படாது கடுப்பேத்துறார் மை லார்ட்.
So eventually, the next day after my exams, my friend and I went over for the prayers. And this uncle was sitting outside, and I just snubbed him, and I walked in and I did my prayers for my grandfather. After I finished everything, I just left. I didn't want to stay there because I'm a type of person, if I don't like someone, I'm not going to be in the same vicinity as them. And if I have nothing nice to say, I'd rather just keep my mouth shut and move on from it. I'm not scared to say anything. I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not even scared of my parents. So it's just more respect.
calm down. Red flag coming out.
It's not red flag, it's respect. I think one thing which is very important is you should have respect for your family, but not respect out of fear.
Yeah, I think that's also important. And, you know, like, not only whether it's fear, but if you are going to be respectful out of fear, you have no boundaries.
Yeah.
So that's when everyone can like cross over here, cross over there. But the thing with this uncle is he used to bring this line, which I feel like everyone's probably heard it. Blood is thicker than water.
Which he clearly doesn't.
So does
abide
anyone
by.
believe in that saying, blood is thicker than water? Because I feel like if you live by
Nope.
that saying, that means your boundaries are always going to be crossed by family members.
And because growing up I heard this a lot, I actually took that line to heart until I realized
Yeah,
no.
I did too.
I think me choosing my friends is way better than me being stuck with family that I don't have a choice because it was given to me. You get what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends.
Yeah, and I choose my friends really wisely because I'm the king of cutting off people in my life.
Remember
be it
the red flag episode?
Family or
Yes.
friends. If I don't feel there's anything between us, like any form of respect, you're out. Because I think respect is something which is very important. And no, if you're an elderly person, it doesn't mean I have to respect you if you don't respect me. So I think that's one thing
Yeah.
in like a brown household. it's so common. It's like, oh, they're elder than you have to respect them. But if they don't show me any form of respect, why should I respect them?
Yeah.
I think respect is a two-way street.
Yeah, and I feel like over time I've also changed a lot, where I used to take all this from family members, and like whether it's my cousin or my auntie or whatever it is, I keep quiet a lot, you know, I really keep quiet a lot. And I try not to react for anything because I don't want to be rude or, you know, whatnot. But I feel like today I'm a very different person. Like if you come at me, you're going to get it 10 times back, you know, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I also want to mention that these uncles, after this argument, like 13 years later was when I first went back to my grandfather's house and I actually spoke to them. I think there's a lot of emotions because we were a very close-knit family. Like not just our immediate family, I mean our extended family as well. We're all really, really close. You know, we have barbecues together, like it will be Christmas, then 1 week later we'll have another barbecue for New Year's, and we used to like party, like the whole family parties. We don't have friends. I mean, we have friends, but we mostly party with our family. You know, it used to be like that. So I think after that 13 years, me coming back into that house, I just felt like, I think there was a lot of emotion, so everyone just cried because generally I am the favorite. So I feel like when I came back, I felt like there was a lot of emotions and they were crying and they were like, you know, let's not talk about the past and everything. And I, at this point in my life, I can forgive and forget, you know.
I can't forgive and forget.
Yeah.
I will talk about the past.
Even though it was like the situation which happened to me. But when my dad initially spoke to me and he was like, you know, Sharanya, you cannot be this way. And that's when I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to change. And that's when I first spoke to them after 13 years. So, yeah, but it's not like I've given them the space to walk back into my life, you know, and tell me what to do and what not to do. So they know that boundary, obviously. But at the same time, there's no like bad blood there.
With me, it's totally opposite. Do not come and talk to me. I do not want to have a relationship with you. If you want to have a relationship with my mom, my dad, my sister, go ahead. With me, please no. Thank you.
Told you I'm the green forest.
When it comes to these kind of things, I will happily be a red hot lava because I don't care and I don't want to care. You hurt me, I will remember it. Do I forgive?
No.
You can answer that.
I know
Do
that.
I forget?
No.
Never.
So, Sudarshan, I'm going to ask you some questions and then you tell the viewers whether it's toxic or not in your
Okay.
eyes, okay? And then I'll say whether it's like toxic or not. So, number 1, when are you getting married?
I think that is a toxic question to ask. It's none of your business. Mind your own business.
So, in the face. Okay, so when someone asks me, when are you getting married? I mean, obviously, it's not your business. But at the same time, there are some family members that they're just concerned.
You don't need to be concerned. You
They're
worry
like,
about your family.
they're genuinely like, not really to say concerned, but they genuinely are just asking. They don't mean any like harm in it. I feel like there's a way of asking these questions. There's some people who are like, they want to be happy for you on your big day, and then there's some
Then just
people
wait.
who just like want to just irritate you. So there's a difference in the way people are. So for the first part, I'll say it's not toxic. For the one who wants to just, you know, see you fall and that kind of family member, I would say it's toxic. You have gained weight. You know, my brother tells me this all the time.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm very 50-50 with this. Like, if it's your immediate family, like your siblings or whatever, I think yes, you can say because I tell her if she gains weight.
I find that toxic. I'm just saying it now.
I'm 50-50.
So rude. Like every time, Sharanya, you
Well,
gain weight.
Somebody needs to tell you.
I didn't ask you to tell me. I don't need you to
I'm
tell me. You think I
concerned.
don't actually know?
I'm concerned for you.
You don't need to.
Wow.
My body, my choice.
Okay, Rasputia.
Your cousin earns more.
If my cousin earns more than me, good on them, you know. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, if you can do well for yourself, I'm honestly very happy. So, I don't think that's toxic.
For me, I don't feel that's toxic, but I will consider it toxic if you don't take us out to club and buy us alcohol. You never visit. That question.
That is like a trauma for me, you know. Our uncle
I
used to always say
know.
that to us. Oh, you don't come and visit
It's
your
not just
grandfather's
our uncle,
house.
our auntie.
The one I remember so well is when our grandfather passed away, and then our uncle used to say, "Oh, because your grandfather passed away, you don't even come and
Oh.
visit the house anymore."
I
I'm
don't
like,
really remember that. I know, like, my auntie, like, on the other side, she always says that. She's like, oh, you guys don't come and visit. She always says it, and then she starts shouting at us.
Well, if we don't come and visit, maybe we don't
You
want
are
to
the
see
problem?
you.
Have you, like,
People have lives.
thought about that?
People work. People need to earn money. Not everybody is free to come and visit you.
Their mouths run.
So
like,
I think that's a toxic question for
crazy.
me. That's toxic.
Why aren't you having kids? I feel like if
Oh,
you're
that's-
married already, that's already the next question, and that's toxic.
That's toxic. It's none of your business.
It doesn't matter, like, whether you're genuine or
Yeah.
not. I think that's a rude question to ask
First of all,
anyone,
yeah.
you know, because you don't know what situation they're in or what they're going through.
You don't ask your family members. You don't ask your friends.
Yep. Why are you still single? I mean, I've had that question asked so many times
I've never had that question asked.
because nobody really cares about you. No, wait. It's not even that. You know why? It's because you don't come for any family
Yeah,
functions.
I don't mingle.
Like,
with
my
family.
mom will never ask him to come for any function. She'll ask once, but with me, she'll be like, no, you have to go.
Because she knows I'm not gonna go. How much you gonna
Even
force
if I
me?
say
I'm
I
not gonna
don't want to go, she's like, no, you have to come.
I'm like, no. I'm sorry. I don't
I
want to
just
see
don't feel
family.
like nowadays I really just don't feel like going for family functions unless I actually like you as a family.
Yeah, same. Unless I like you as a family, I would come. But I don't like any of my family members. So tough loss on you.
I feel like if our family was watching this, right, they'll be like, look at them.
Hi.
Hi, we're here. This is who we are. I mean, I've had that question asked before many times, why you're single. I used to find that, I wouldn't say toxic, but somewhere in between. Because the next question that comes after that is like, oh, you're so pretty, how come you have no one? So I'm like, does that have a hidden meaning? Because why? My mom opened my mail. My mother does that all the time. I'm going to
I
say it's
don't-
toxic.
I don't think it's toxic.
I think it's
I
toxic.
have nothing to hide.
I mean, nothing to hide, but still it's your
I mean,
mail.
yeah, it's still
It's your own personal.
yeah.
So, the next one. My uncle borrowed 10,000 ringgit and disappeared.
My
Super
uncle
toxic.
constantly borrows money but never returns it. So yes, it's toxic.
My relatives invited everyone to the wedding except us.
Oh, that's not toxic. Thank you for not inviting us because I genuinely
I find
want to be
that
there.
toxic, but at the same time, I'm glad you didn't call us because we wouldn't have to give you, like, you know, the moikas.
Also, we are going to be that family member where we don't call you guys. So we might be
So
the toxic
in case we do not call you, just know that we actually don't like you.
one. Yes.
I think this is the way to be. Today, this is the way to be, guys, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is how you need to be. Boundaries. All right, so the next segment that we will be talking about is we're going to have a little debate. Don't you think we should have a little
We
debate?
should, because
I think
we
people
can
would
never
definitely
agree on the same thing.
never. So, would you cut off a toxic family member?
Wow, this is a
Actually,
very
I already
hard
know the
question.
answer.
Let me think. Of course, I will cut out a toxic family member.
So, how many toxic family members have you cut off? Can you count?
Everyone.
Yeah,
I
really?
find everyone toxic for me. So
You cut off everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone?
Do you see me communicating with any uncles, aunties, cousins? Do you see me attending any functions? Do you see me
Yeah, but you don't want to
in
attend
any
functions.
family group chats? No.
Oh, yeah, you're not in that family
Yeah,
group
I'm
chat.
not.
I'm so glad it died. I muted it.
I'm not even in it because I don't even want to be a part of it. So yes, my answer is I would cut toxic family members. What about you?
I would cut off like really toxic family members, but just like how I explain of, you know, reconciling with my uncles again, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have cut them off like that drastically. You know?
But what made you think in that way?
I don't know, maybe because I felt like they were getting old, and like I felt like maybe they're really missing out on a lot of our lives. But they kind of
But that's a
they
choice
kind
they
of
made.
yeah, they kind of made that choice for themselves. But then when I did go and see them, I kind of felt like bad.
Because you're an empath. That's your problem.
Yeah, like I looked at them and I really felt like bad for them, because it just brought back so many memories. It really brought like that instant, like as soon as I walked into like walked to the gate and like opened the gate and like was walking through the patio, like towards the front door, I just felt like so many memories that just like hit me all at once, because it was 13 years, you know, and I didn't realize that much time has like gone by, you know. And then like talking to them, I can see like how emotional they were. So I kind of figured like they really feel sorry for what has happened and for all the time lost. I think that's why maybe I shouldn't have like really cut them off that fast, you know.
I'm glad we are very different on this.
I feel like just for like that uncle, you know, that's how I think of it. But other family members, like certain ones that ruined my birthday last year, that one cut off completely, because you literally made me cry on my birthday. Like so disrespectful, knowing fully that it was my birthday.
Yeah.
And it's not like she didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
So she knew it, yet she just decided to do it on my birthday. So
So you know that.
cut off, and I'll never speak to her again.
So you know, not too long ago, maybe about 2 years ago, I was really close to a cousin, and then I decided to cut them off. What do you think about that?
What I really think about that is maybe it's a misunderstanding which you can talk it out, because there was a third party involvement, and that third party has caused like actually a lot of problems, which I feel like you don't really know, is because like the third party loves to manipulate and gaslight everybody around her. So our cousin who was like taking care of her, I can't like 100% blame her as well, because she did that out of the goodness of her heart. She is that kind of person where I feel like she does have that, and I feel like maybe both of y'all have this ego. The ego and pride, I feel like, is blocking the both of you. But I feel like initially you are close to her as well, and she's really close to you as well. Even though she's like way much older, but she does listen to things that you also have to say. And that misunderstanding, if you both like talk about it, maybe there'll be like a better solution to it. So I feel like you don't have to like cut the person off. Maybe you just need to call and talk.
You try to keep the family together as much as you can.
Yeah, I think
but
I've
when it doesn't
always
work, you feel
been
very
like
bad
that.
about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I've
And I'm
always
not
tried to
like
do that.
that.
Actually, yeah, that's very
Yeah.
true. I've always tried to keep the family like together and like stuff like that. And then when it doesn't work out and then it backfires, or like I get backstabbed by it, that's when I'm like, I'm done. And when I'm done, I'm done. That's how the 13 years goes by. What if like it could be solved by actually picking up the
it's
phone and
more
talking?
than 2 years. I feel like in your case, even though it was like 13 years, you still can forgive. Maybe not forget, but you can forgive and you can move on. But in my case, like if it's more than 6 months,
All right, I have a question. More than 6 months. Okay, family, you can't choose family word. So,
I can choose.
okay, but what if the person, like if she said, you know, Sudarshan, like I'm sorry, like there was a lot of misunderstanding that happened and I didn't actually realize.
I mean, if they were genuinely sorry, I would accept it. But I don't think I can ever like be that same person I was prior to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am that type of a person. Sadly, yes, that is who I am. I want to change this about myself. Maybe, maybe not. But as for now, no. I can't be a you in this kind of situation.
You should be a me. Sometimes it's not that bad.
It is very bad.
No, I feel like sometimes you need to forgive, maybe not forget, so that you can still have your boundaries and you know where your boundaries are set. But at the same time, I feel like you can forgive certain people. Not saying all. Like, I'm saying like, okay, that cousin, like, okay, the situation that happened with me with that cousin, no. Auntie, no. And then like with my uncles, yeah, I forgive them, but it's not like I forgot the whole thing, but I'm willing to go through that, like forgive and forget with them. And then at the same time, I feel like it's something you can forgive, and then you don't have to forget. You can just have like your boundaries, because I felt like you both were like really close, and I felt
Yeah,
like a
but-
lot of people also were jealous of it. Certain people, meaning that third party who manipulates and gaslights, because you don't know what she's saying behind your back. That's the thing. Like, you think like she's upfront, always going to tell you the truth, but a lot of people will tell you the truth to your face, but there's many things that they are telling the truth about. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
one conversation can be to you about certain things, and another conversation could be to our cousin, and maybe she got pissed off with whatever she said, thinking that you said it. Because you all didn't speak to each other about it, so that misunderstanding could have been there. Like with our other auntie in Singapore that like shouted at me on my birthday, that one is like non-forgivable. So that kind of stuff I don't forgive and forget, So yeah. The thing about, I would say, for brown families, because we only can speak on behalf of brown families, is that a lot of, whether it's parents or aunties and uncles, but I feel mostly parents, they do not understand mental health. Do you agree or not?
Yes, 100%. They think mental health is like
Disease.
Yeah, like you're going to Tanjung Rambutan or a mental institution.
Exactly.
They think that is.
they do think that. They think
Yeah.
like your life is gone. They're like, oh, you're
You can't have mental health problems. If you have mental health problems, it'll be in your records, and
Yeah.
it'll be so bad for you, and you can't get a good job, or
and you shouldn't seek help.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, what about their time? They didn't have all these things and
Or
they
what people would
survived.
say.
Yeah. Or what people would say is one thing. And I feel like a lot of the similar type of, like, whatever your situation may be, but the similar kind of responses that I feel any of us get is, you need to pray more.
Yeah.
You agree?
If you have mental health issues,
Pray
you're
more.
not praying enough. So you need to pray more.
They'll be like, you're just overthinking it. Yeah. Or you're just being lazy.
Yeah. And they're like,
I feel
"Oh."
like that's very common, like, answers that.
Instead of picking up signs that maybe your child is going through something like anxiety or depression or any form of mental health issues.
At the same time, I feel like a lot of families dismiss it very easily. So they dismiss mental health so easily to a point where some people don't know where to turn to. So I'm so glad that today we have social media and people are out there, like, they can see whether it's on TikTok or Instagram, there are people like who are counselors that are there talking, and they make you feel comfortable enough to reach out to
Yeah.
them, so
And
that
a
you
lot
have
of younger generations
Yeah.
are advocating for mental health, and speaking to their parents about it.
Yeah.
Because having mental health issues is a commonality amongst people these days. It's nothing wrong. It's just how you channel it and how you try to fix it, and you move on from it. I honestly think brown families should try therapy at least once. There'll
Can
be a
you
lot
imagine the
of-
family therapy?
There will be a lot of families that will be in much better places.
Not only that, can you imagine like a situation where
Yeah.
the brown families are sitting there and the counselors like, so tell me your problem.
We don't have problems.
Yeah.
We are perfect.
We're like perfectly
We
fine.
are fine. I don't know why we are here.
We're like Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum, the cover page.
Yeah, so honestly, I think brown people should go for therapy.
Yeah, I feel especially parents.
Parents should
They
go.
need therapy first.
just do it once, and you will see the difference. A lot of families will be happier.
They will benefit actually.
Yeah.
I feel like talking
Because-
about your problems to each other and actually understanding what one is going through or individually going through, I think it'll make like a great difference in that family itself,
Yeah, and speaking for like brown families, a lot of brown family members feel they cannot share that kind of emotion. You can't share
Yeah.
pain or difficulties. You have to like bottle it up. And when you bottle it up, you get stressed. And when you get stressed, you start yelling. and you are very rude or stern, or like a lot of men I think have this, like, like
they bottle
Indian
up.
uncles.
Yeah, they bottle up all their feelings, not realizing that it's also toxic to them because they feel as a man they cannot be seen as weak.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's the main thing.
But when they actually start speaking about their problems, they would be in a better place.
Yeah, it would be more
Your family
beneficial
also
for
would
the
be
family.
very happy.
But at the same time, it's not only just mental health. What do you think about generational trauma?
I think generational trauma is something which is very common.
But do you find that toxic?
It is toxic, yes, 100%. It is toxic because now what I've experienced, I feel like, my child needs to experience that in order to learn. If you go through hardship, only then you will learn. But that's not
Yeah.
how it is anymore,
Yeah, it's not only whether you will learn, it's because that's what they know. So they feel that they need to impose that on their children for them to become better human beings because they consider themselves better human beings. But
because of the lessons they've learned.
yeah, but in
that's not
reality,
true.
they're not actually better human
Yeah.
beings, So
Just
you're not
because
teaching
you
your children the
suffered,
right
it doesn't
stuff.
mean your children have to suffer the same.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Which I'm so glad the millennials are changing that right now, because the boomers are the same because they don't know how to. You can't really blame them at the same time, but they only know what their fathers have taught them, and they are the way they are. But they also try to change, but not many families do that. Some are like they're strict and this is their way. That is their way. A lot of brown families, you see that they're like very strict. If this is their way, this is their way. That's it. You cannot argue otherwise. So I think for us as like millennials or Gen Z, we need to change that. We need to bring change in order for our future generation or future kids to live better lives. I feel like if you take the trauma out, I think your family will be in like a better state.
So Sharanya, what do you think now about toxic in-laws? Because we are not married, so we can't speak through our own experiences, but we can speak about experiences we've heard,
we've heard or seen, yeah.
And I still think this is something very common in brown families where if they are a mother's boy,
the mother's boys.
ராத்திரி கூட இந்த மம்மியை பிரிஞ்சு நீ தனியா இருந்ததே இல்ல. ஆனா ஏதோ ஒரு பொண்ணு மேல இருக்கிற லவ்ஸுக்காக இப்ப போறேங்கிறது கஷ்டமா இருக்குது.
நீதான் என் உயிர் மா.
daughter-in-laws would actually suffer quite a bit.
I think so too. And especially if you're a man who's such a mummy's boy that if your mother said anything to your wife, you will not stand up for her.
Exactly.
There's a lot of
And I think it's
brown
still
families.
going on.
Yeah, it still goes on. It still goes on.
There's no cut to it yet.
Yeah, because as much as they say like, oh, now you're a part of my family, but let me tell you one thing, you are never a part of their family.
Yeah, you'll never be
You
a part
will
of their
never
family.
be a part of their family because that mother didn't give birth to you or go through pain giving birth to you. So you're going to definitely be treated differently. And I've seen a lot of influencers, if you can say, or that were on social media, on TikTok, who were talking about how their mother-in-law used to treat them. And the fact that it happens like overseas, like in the UK or in Europe, and these are with brown families still, and it's crazy. Like they have like so many parts to it, but the torture, the abuse, mental, physical abuse, I think it's crazy at this point that it's still happening.
And I think one thing that is also quite absurd is the fact that people will say, oh, it's my mother, or how she is.
Yeah, I hate that dialogue.
Like, just keep quiet. Like, how her character is. It's okay, just move on from it.
Yeah, I hate that. Oh my gosh.
No, you have
No.
to address the
Yes.
issue with your parents.
Yeah.
If your parents are being disrespectful, you address the issue and you correct your parents. Because now that you're
For
married
real.
and you have somebody in your life, you are also responsible for that person, You can't just be like, oh no, just keep quiet. They'll say like, oh, parvala, vide, yamma thane, unakku theriyum. Like, this dialogue should stop.
Yeah, like உனக்கு தானே தெரியும் என் அம்மா பத்தி, those kind of things, right? It's like it's irritating to even hear it because why are you, as a man, you're not just a son, you're a man as well. Why can't you stand up for what's right? Like, do you think that is called, I feel, generational trauma? Because they do not stop what is wrong. And that is the trauma. You've instilled that in your child, and you've made your child believe the mother is everything, or their family is everything. And if a girl was to enter that family, they have to do everything their way, which I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not like that. I would never also.
Our mother is also not like that.
Yeah, our mother is
mother is
completely
like-
different.
You're the guy, you also do work.
Yeah.
If she's cooking, you're cleaning. If she's sweeping the floor, you're mopping. So
Yeah.
my mother is the total opposite. Thank
She's
God
totally, yeah,
for that.
thank God for that. Yeah.
So whoever I get married to, you're lucky.
Yeah, you'll be so lucky because my mom is, she's such an amazing person.
She supports.
She's
the,
a sweetheart.
I think she's the type who supports the in-laws more than her children. She's a very big empath, so for
Yeah,
her,
how I am, my mom's just double.
Yeah, she's
that.
double. She'll be like, no, you are in the wrong. Be like, no, ma, our partner did this. She'll be like, no, it's you.
Yeah,
You are the problem.
you are the problem.
So
My child is the problem.
We can't win with her in that.
Yeah,
So whoever marries us are very lucky because our parents
they're very nice.
and our mother is amazing. If you're a gentleman and you're watching this and you are in such a situation and you find it really difficult, I think you should stand up for your partner, like your wife. And if somebody who's watching this who's a female and you're going through this issue in your family right now, you also need to stand up.
Yeah,
Stand up to your in-laws and stand up to your husband, because you can't just be sitting there and taking all this.
yeah, you can't. It has to stop at one point, and I think only when you put your foot down and it stops, then it stops. I mean, if people aren't happy with the way you address the situation or the way you are, so what? Live life. You only have one life. So, Sudarshan, what do you think about guilt as a parenting tool? Do you find it toxic?
Yeah, I think it's actually toxic because a lot of brown family members, right, they like to say this one line. You will know when you become a parent.
The best one is, after everything I've done for you.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's,
that
I feel,
line
every brown household,
will say that.
either someone would have said it, either the father or mother. Right?
After everything you've done, you wanted children.
You wanted children, and we're here on this earth suffering.
So you really have to be there for your children. You can't be using these lines in
Yeah.
order to blackmail them emotionally.
Yeah, that they use it as
Yeah.
a emotional. There's a lot of emotional blackmail. Yeah. The thing is, right, we can't even really think much. But if you guys know common sentences that your parents use that you find toxic, comment down below, because we didn't really grow up in that kind of household,
Yeah,
so it's very hard
for us to say.
to say what exactly
Yeah.
has been said. All right, guys. So we've come to the end of our toxic family episode. Discussion, debate. So let us know down below in the comments, have you ever gone through toxic family situations?
And how did you deal with that?
And how did you deal with it? So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on Unplugged with the
Jeevans.
and we'll see you on the next episode. Also, let us know down below if you want us to talk about any specific topics, because we can do that. So thank you for watching. Bye.
See you on the next one. Bye bye.